All right, we are inside the Sports Sunday boardroom. Hey, Astros are world champs. We know that. We got an off season to talk about now. Already looking ahead. We are joined by Sean Pendergast, Sports Radio 610, Adam Wexler, Sports Talk 790, and Brian T. Smith from the Chronicle. Guys, we just heard from Jim Crane on Justin Verlander. I want to start right there with JV. We know what's up with that. Crane wants to keep him. Do you think Verlander wants to stay? Can they work this out? What do y'all think?
Well, I think it's an interesting development here in that it feels like the Astros might be working from a position of strength in this thing. I think Verlander, it's crazy what they've done with these free agents that have left year after year. Justin Verlander is going to be the American League Cy Young winner. They could lose Justin Verlander and still be the favorite to win the American League here. So I think it's a financial decision as much as anything else. You know, what do you do with the $40 million that you would have spent on Verlander if he's gone?
They don't have to have Justin Verlander back. That's a crazy thing. Sean's exactly right. I mean, you could have Luis Garcia could pitch for this team. Jose Urquidy could pitch for this team. Hunter Brown could. You have so many options. It's got to be a contract that works for the Astros. They've done a fantastic job, and Sean mentioned everyone who's left. They've done a fantastic job of not having bad contracts. They've never been held down by a bad contract. So I want Justin Verlander back, but I want a team-friendly deal that works for the Astros in 2025 and 2026.
Yeah, I think that's where they're in a great place. I know he wants to come back, and we all know Jim Crane wants him back, but it's on their money. They have money to spend elsewhere if they don't spend it on him. Yeah. And honestly, they might be a better team if that's the route they go. So they're going to tell him that during these negotiations.
What number gets it done?
It shouldn't be much more than where he's at, but he earned more than that.
Yeah.
He knows he can get it elsewhere and win, because that is what he wants to do. And that's why he came back here this second contract. And he wants to win. They can win here again. He's taking a chance, a big one, even for big money, if he goes elsewhere.
And he wants the 300 wins. I mean, he wants the Cy Youngs, and he will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's done everything, but he wants to get that 300 wins. And what better team to get 300 wins with the Houston Astros?
If I'm Justin Verlander, I'm going whoever gives me the biggest bag. At that point in your career, you're a future
Does he
Hall
need
of
money?
Right, he's a future Hall of Famer.
But he doesn't need money.
He doesn't need money, but money's always nice. Money talks. Right?
What's the number?
Crane put it best yesterday. He said he's chasing after 300 wins. He wants to be on a contender right now.
I think he's looking at $35 million per, whether it's 2 for 70 or 3 for 105. I think that's what he thinks he can get, and I don't think the Astros are in that kind of business.
All right.
2 for 70.
All right, let's segue now, guys. Dusty Baker, James Click. These guys don't have a contract right now.
Well, it's interesting.
What's happening? You win the World Series.
I don't think that it's at all a tandem. I don't think they're super enjoying working together. Dusty's been pretty clear publicly, and that's the only one of the three that has. He wants to. If he's changed his mind since winning and the parade and when it comes up again, then it'll be his decision. If he wants to come back, they're not letting him go. It's not the same story with James Click. I think Crane's already made that decision.
Yeah, this one is very, very simple. And Wex is 100% right. If Dusty Baker wants to come back, he's back. If he doesn't want to, if he wants to ride off into the California sunset and drink wine for the rest of his life,
He's got a nice winery there.
he does.
Sounds like a
He
great
can
time.
do that. Jim Crane has a huge decision to make with James Click. James Click did everything mostly right this year. You won 106 games. You beat the Mariners. You beat the Phillies. You beat the Yankees. You swept the Yankees,
right?
The big money Yankees. But does Jim Crane want to bring James Click back? He will not answer that question. He hasn't yet. But what a more perfect time. You're going to have the parade, City Hall. Announce that your GM and manager are coming back on some type of stage.
Yeah.
Do it and keep everything together.
I think if this was a court of public opinion, Dusty would win in a landslide. I think there's a big faction. As far as Click goes, I think most of the fans feel like this is still a team that was built by Jeff Luhnow. His fingerprints are on most of the roster. I think I counted of the 26 that were on the roster for the World Series, maybe the start of the playoffs, 6 of them were Click guys. The other 20 were Luhnow guys, either drafted by Luhnow or signed by Luhnow, traded for by Luhnow. So I think there's a feeling amongst fans at least, and maybe even people that cover the team, like, okay, well, general manager might be kind of a transferable sort of position that somebody could step in, and maybe they want somebody who's got a different skill set than James Click. It is a weird look to have a GM for a 106-win team that just tore through the playoffs.
Who's a well-liked guy, too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he's been an antagonist. He's not made any enemies. James Click is well-liked within the organization.
And
It's
within
just
the clubhouse as well. We haven't even talked about the players yet. The guys love Dusty Baker in that clubhouse. This is a roster that's a good bit of them are returning next year. I think that's important too. Altuve, when you have, if Justin Verlander comes back, all these guys, they rave about Dusty Baker. I think their opinion matters as well.
You just lost your internal options too. If you don't bring James Click back, he just helped you win the World Series. Pete Patilla's gone. He's with the
Yep.
Giants.
Ozocampo's gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
He's with the Marlins. So
point.
do you have internal options? Not really. Are you going to go external from some organization that's not doing as well as the Astros? Why wouldn't you keep the guy? You put him in the worst situation imaginable, and he thrived and won a World Series. Just because he doesn't fit with you, personally, maybe for Jim Crane, until he fails, I don't think it makes any sense to replace him.
I couldn't agree more.
Jim Crane is the one making these big decisions. We're just talking about this Verlander deal. That's not a Click deal. Click's not negotiating that deal. Crane is. And many of the other deals, they're Crane deals. He is way more involved than most owners. And I do think it coincides with what happened with the scandal, and he wanted to be more hands-on. And any new GM is going to have to deal with that. Why not just keep dealing with the person who is dealing with that?
We need to give more credit though for the bullpen, because you were totally right about the roster, and you can break all that down.
But you mean the best part of the team?
This was exactly Wex. This is one of the reasons they won the World Series, and James Click deserves the most credit with the pitching coaches for making that bullpen come together.
All right, a couple of the quick hits. We've got free agents now. They've got decisions to make on these guys. Let's just run through them. In you guys' opinion, who stands out? Who's the biggest priority? You got Brantley. He's coming back from injury. Should he be on this roster? You got Mancini and Vasquez, the acquisitions. Are they going to be back, or are they going elsewhere? Who stands out on this list right now? How would y'all prioritize who needs to be back?
Why do they like Michael Brantley?
Because he can hit.
Because he gets on base.
Right.
So when I point to you, that's when you talk. I think he's exactly right, though. What was the biggest problem this postseason?
Yeah.
That gaping hole at designated hitter. Even if he gives you 60 games, 80 games, 100 games during the regular season, unfortunately it didn't work out that none of those came during their 13 postseason games. But if Michael Brantley's willing to go on a comparable deal from a years to what he's gotten here in the past, probably for a significant pay cut, then you can bring him back. He does want to come back, and I think you're looking at the same thing with Yuli Gurriel. These are guys that weren't really the best they could be during the regular season. That's the best Gurriel's played in probably 3 or 4 years, offensively and defensively. But Brantley can be a guy you can bring back, I think, reasonably from a financial standpoint.
And we want to talk about clubhouse and chemistry and all those, whereas Michael Brantley is loved in that clubhouse.
Yeah.
By the fans, but within that
Michael
clubhouse.
Brantley not playing this postseason is giving a speech to the team during the postseason, during the World Series, to light a fire under them.
Which is interesting because naturally it feels like Michael Brantley, for the most part, seems like he's as good as gone. Most people have kind of written him off, so it'll be interesting to see if they do.
Honestly, Randy, I don't see anybody on that list that other than Verlander, that's make or break for this team, which is, to everyone else's point, that's how well they are set up. They could lose a Verlander, they could lose a Brantley, obviously you could lose Will Smith, or you could lose Diaz or Castro. They should still win 100 games next year, and they could lose all those guys.
But on Gurriel's case, if they bring him back, is he an everyday guy now, or you have to have somebody that can spot him?
Well, you got to remember who the manager is. It's Dusty. He loves Yuli Gurriel.
He does.
So is he an everyday guy for Dusty, or is he an everyday guy for just for where he's at in his career? Probably not anymore. But I don't think you're bringing him back on everyday money. To Adam and Brian's point. So what I like about this list is, as Brian just pointed out, there's nobody on there where I'm like, well, they got to bring that guy back. There has been that feeling with free agents leaving.
Correa, Springer, Cole.
Yeah, going even the Charlie Morton and Dallas Keuchel back in the day. So. I think Yuli was the name that jumped out at me just because of how good he was in the postseason, how good he is with the gloves still at his age. And I think it's one of these things. I think Brantley and Yuli both fit into the same bucket with me. Bring them back year to year on really cheap deals and leave them in there, and you're going to know when it's time to punt on both of them. I think at the right money, I don't think it's time to punt on either of them right now.
Raise your hand if you want to keep Mancini. Ooh.
But I'm still waiting for a Trey Mancini breakthrough. Like, I'm still waiting for him to break through.
You got to wonder if a full year maybe he'll adapt. He just didn't hit the ball well when he got it.
His bat should work a Minute Maid Park. He has a good glove. He was very good for Baltimore. He was loved in Baltimore.
Right.
He had a tough run, and it's the same deal. If you can bring him back on a team friendly deal, make it work. I mean, pair
I love
Mancini with
Mancini
Gurriel.
too, the person. You can't bring him back on this team. He can't hit the baseball. That's what you brought him here to do. The only thing you brought him here to do was hit. He didn't hit.
He hit for like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was the hero. He was out of the pool halls for a
so
week.
bad. It's unfortunate. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
There's no reason. That's like chasing your money at the tables.
And he might
Just let
have
go.
he might have to reset his career. You know, I mean, that happens to a lot of those guys in those stages. You go from one team, you go to another, it doesn't work out. He's got to kind of get a reset and maybe go get hot somewhere else.
He is. I liked him so much. I just
He's
wish,
such a good guy.
I wish he had a moment. It was the ground ball to first base in the 8th inning of Game 5. Was
Game
that
five.
enough for him to not have to pay
It
for
was
a
a
drink
huge
anymore?
moment.
Yeah,
When
I
he
just
gets
don't want
his
him to have to
single,
buy a
look
drink.
at how the stadium, how his teammates reacted
Yes.
to his lone postseason
And
hit.
when Kyle Tucker gloved that final out, nobody celebrated more initially than Trey Mancini. He threw his glove.
Yeah.
He looked like a little kid who just won the Little League World
loved it,
Series.
man. He loved it.
He is a good guy.
He wouldn't let Tucker go celebrate. Man, him was hugging you like, dude, I got to get over to my team.
All right, guys, great insights. Going to be a busy off-season, a lot of decisions to make. But for now, we enjoy parade and a World Series championship from these guys. But appreciate the time. Sean Pendergast, Sports Radio 610, Adam Wexler, Sports Talk 790, Brian T. Smith from the Chronicle. Thanks for hanging. Appreciate it, guys.